So safety in Mexico is a topic that is often in the headlines in America, particularly with mainstream media and having to do with drug cartels and violence near the border and violence between rival cartels. And it's a very serious thing and something that certainly does cross our mind, and certainly something that anyone traveling to America should be concerned with. However, if you do your research and you educate yourself and you see past the headlines, you'll see that all of that violence is directly related to the drug trafficking, and that random tourists and random Americans that choose to visit and travel in America like we do, it's very, very rare that there are any instances of anyone ever being a victim of any certain type of crime like that. The truth is, we actually kind of feel safer here. We've lived in major cities like Houston, Texas, where every single morning you wake up, you turn on the news, and you hear about murders and violent crime and people's houses being randomly broken into and things like that. And you just don't see that here. Where we currently live has no air conditioning, and our windows are open 100% of the time with no locks on them, no nothing. Our front door has a lock on it, but it has been rigged to where you can just reach through the screen and open the door. So we do not have any type of security on our house at all, and that's not a concern. That doesn't bother us one bit because everybody else is the same way. And the type of crime where people just randomly go after individuals that they don't know doesn't really exist here. It's not something that we concern ourselves with on a regular basis, and it's really just the thought of safety and crime here in this part of Mexico, like I said, is a thought and something that we consider, but it's definitely not something that we worry about. As we move farther south and we continue on our journey, it goes for the same, really. I almost more so feel that the more we get away from tourist areas, the even less we'll be concerned with safety. We'll have even less to worry about. So as we go into Chiapas, I just wrote a piece recently doing some freelance work on the safety in Chiapas. That's the southernmost state in Mexico, and that's actually rated as the #1 safest state in all of Mexico. And I put a statement in there about how there is horrible crime and really, really bad gun violence and murders in Chicago, but I don't think anyone would ever say that they're not going to go to America because there's violence in Chicago. So to say that Chiapas is somewhere that we shouldn't visit or that it may not be safe there is pretty much the same thing as saying you won't go to America because Chicago has violence. I mean, people still go to Chicago even though there's major violence. So Mexico's a huge country, and the violence just does not have anything to do with us. It doesn't have anything to do with individuals. It's 100% related to the drug trafficking, and quite honestly, we feel safer here than we do in America.
So as a woman and as a mother, people ask us, are you afraid to go to Mexico because of the safety issue, that American mainstream media makes you think that Mexico is a really super dangerous country. While there are, dangerous places near the border, and just like America, there's, dangerous cities like Chicago, New York, Houston, LA. LA is really scary. So coming to Mexico, since we've been here several times, safety was never a concern of mine. And when we were in Hoko, I noticed women walking alone with children or alone by themselves at night, like 9, 10 o'clock at night. And if it wasn't a safe area, then why would women be walking alone with or without children? So then we came here, and of course you want to like get the feel for the type of safety that there is in the community. And last night I went out for the second time by myself, strictly by myself last night, but the first time was with both boys to pick up pizza. I'm not afraid at all. I don't have any type of concern for my safety. I haven't had it yet, and I'm out by myself a lot with the kids around the Pueblo, walking to pick up our daily items at the market or picking up lunch or whatever it is. I haven't once felt intimidated. Everyone is so kind. Everyone says hi. Everyone says good morning, good afternoon. They talk to Bob. They want to see the baby. It's a very friendly community, and not once have I felt unsafe. Mexico is an amazing country with amazing people that are super kind and very very loving, very genuine. You don't get that in America a lot these days. But please don't do that, buddy. It was awesome in Hoko when we first got there. After living in Houston for a few months, we, you noticed everyone in America walking around with their cell phones, staring down at them, not talking to you, not acknowledging you as you walk by, just to be a kind human. And then we go to Ajijic and Jocotepec, and people aren't on their phones as often, and they're saying hi to you. They're really interested, and hope you're having a good day. And it's the same here. People aren't on their phones as often, and it's a great community feel. And we let Bob run across the street to play all the time while we're inside. It's a very safe area, and we love Mexico for that.
Tell them about how we've let Bob just go with others.
So there's these trikes. Can you show them? I guess you can't really see.
Tricycle over there across the street.
So that's like how they transport stuff. I mean, the dude across the street goes and chops wood and bikes it on back. So there's a young girl. She can't be any older than like 20, and there's several little boys that Bob plays with across the road, and they love to hop on the tricycle, and they go to the store. They just ride around the little neighborhood that we're in. And the first time, Bob just hopped on, and Daniel and I looked at each other like, what do we do? If we let him get off, if we make him get off, he's gonna scream and freak out. But if we let him go, will we see him again? So there was definitely concern. So we just let him go. We let him be free and be independent. And obviously she came back with her kid, and he doesn't speak Spanish at all, and they don't speak English either. So that was very nerve-wracking the first time. But now he does it all the time. He sees somebody going off to the store on the tricycle, and he runs and he jumps on it, and it's kind of neat. It gives him his own independence as a 4.5-year-old, and I think that will serve him very well as he grows into becoming an independent man in a giant world. And it's given him confidence, even though he still only speaks a little bit of Spanish, enough to say let's play or let's go or good morning, good night, or whatever. It doesn't change the fact that he still wants to play with these kids. It's been amazing for him. It's a great world schooling opportunity for our child.
So with all that is in the mainstream media in America about concerns with safety in Mexico, you've said that there's not really anything that you see as you feeling unsafe, but if there was one thing you would say here that you're like a little concerned with, what would one little thing be that you think, okay, maybe that's not so safe?
I have no idea. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I can't think of anything. I felt more unsafe in Houston and or Charleston, South Carolina, than I have here. You know, our house that we live in has is open air. It's, I mean, there's screens on the windows, you know, so we don't get mosquitoes. Um, but our windows are open 24/7. You know, we sleep with the windows open. We have a giant sliding door that the owner said we can't close because it's broke. But he said, you know, so we can't close it, and the baby sleeps in that room, well, the one room that we all sleep in, every night. You know, he's taking a nap right now in there, and I'm not concerned at all. We keep our door open, like literally open all day long into the night, just to get the cool air in at night. I honestly don't feel uneasy at all. I've never felt that way. Hey guys, so let me turn around. There you go. You know, I touched base on like the safety of Mexico, and you know, all the articles that have come out in the U.S. about how unsafe it is. We're living in the Pueblo with the locals as expats and as gringos. Like, we're the only gringo family with children. Hola.
Hola.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
So we're the only gringo family here, and it's pretty amazing. And I'm out at night alone with Ninja. Hola. Buenas noches. And I don't feel unsafe. You know, we both grew up in Houston, Texas, and that's a really scary city. I definitely feared for, you know, certain bad things to happen there, but here I don't have that feeling. And so I'm on my walk to the store. Both kids are asleep. Baby Kai fought hard today. Baby Kai fought hard today with his sleep, so I'm going to get beer because I need a night off. Anyway, so I'm on my way to the store. Peace out. Hey, so I'm back. I just got my beer, a 6-pack of beer. I got to walk through town behind me, as you can see. So it's not really that far. We're like 3 blocks on the right side of town, north side of town, I guess. You know, there's places in Houston that Daniel and I have been where you don't stop, like at a stop sign or a red light. Like, you just keep going. If you're not from that area or you don't live there, you just keep going, and it's scary because you risk getting a ticket for your life or whatever. But you know, here the whole premise of America's mainstream media is Mexico is unsafe. But you know, I just walked around. So it's the second time I've been out at night, and the first time I was with both boys. This time it was just by myself because they're asleep. You know, there's not one time that I felt unsafe at all. People said hi, good night, you know, buenas noches. There were families out, women with kids, women by themselves. It's, you know, it's just the stigma that the mainstream media in America puts on Mexico is really ridiculous. While there are parts that are not safe for anyone, you know, but there are places in America that are totally unsafe. I mean, in Charleston, where we lived for 6.5 years, they've had, in the last month, 2 attempted child abductions, and that's scary. You know, here we've always wanted a place where our child, Bob, you know, being as old as he is, can just walk outside and run across the street, and now we have that, and we're glad we do.